Oh my gosh! Again, you got me you got me done right before we need to record.
This is good. I just like breaking you before recording. It's standard now.
Like a bantha.
Later.
No, please don't sing it. It's been in my head. What's up, guys? This is the Bodacious Rant with Burn and Rye. Oh god, Burn's just a joker. He's got jokes off the yin yang. That's all I gotta say. But well, the time has finally come, and I'm kind of relieved. Like now, it's done with. To be honest, the Book of Boba Fett season finale or Chapter 7 episode finally dropped, and again, like the last few episodes, it is definitely up there as one of the greater ones. However, I'm still. It just I couldn't rally behind it. I'm sorry. I'm so glad it's done with now. Like, if we get a season 2, that's a freaking miracle. I don't want one though. I think we're done with this show. But I don't know. Overall, the season, let me do this. The episode I will give a 4 out of 5, just because I admire some of the stuff that they've like kind of came back with, and kind of, there were some great moments in this. Mm-hmm. But overall, as a show, I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5.
Oh, the entire show.
The entire season, 2 out of 5.
Wow.
It was a major disappointment for me. I was really looking forward to this because I thought, if it's going to be a filler between Mandalorian season 2 and season 3, I expect this to be epic. I'm like, Disney's putting some money behind this. They have their own the first spin-off. Great. Let's see what they got. Garbage. Total garbage.
Wow. Yeah. That's. I mean, I think we'll look back on this, regardless, in years from now, and just be like, that was a very interesting choice they made. Like a lot of.
We look back. Oh my God, I was so wrong. 5 out of 5. Just perfection.
Because I mean, like simultaneously, we're getting some of the best Star Wars we've had in a while in this series, and then we're also getting some things that are a little bit more. I don't think they're quite as bad as, like, say, some things maybe like that are present in The Rise of Skywalker. At least in my opinion, I don't think it ever like got down to that low of a point. I mean, things were pretty silly, but I mean, what are you gonna do? Like Star Wars does have has its pretty silly elements. But in terms of this episode, I do agree with you. I think it's one of the stronger ones that we've gotten. I don't think it's the best one. I think the last couple that we've gotten, I think those are pretty much almost untouchable with how good they were. And that's more speaking to the credit of the quality of those episodes, and less the quality of the other ones. But yeah, it's like this finale really is a product of its season. It's a bit uneven, and things are like not set up as well as I wish they would be. That being said, I think there's a lot of really fun action here. This whole episode is essentially one extended action sequence, and I thought that's where Robert Rodriguez was able to have the most fun. This, to me, was the strongest of the episodes that he directed, easily. And this felt more in line with what we saw in Mando Season 2 than what we've seen in this series itself, in my opinion. So I did like it for those reasons. But yeah, the series as a whole, the entire season of Boba Fett, I don't think I'm quite as low on it as you are. I won't go 2 out of 5, but I will go like barely a 3 out of 5. Like I said, for the many reasons, it was very entertaining. Some of the best Star Wars we've had in a while simultaneously having a lot of elements that's just like makes you really question the screenwriting abilities of Filoni and Favreau, because it's like. They make certain choices that don't end up benefiting Boba himself, and this being his series, you would want that more. Like they break some pretty big screenwriting rules, as we've seen like halfway through the season, and again, while the stuff that we got was great, it doesn't really mesh too well at the end, as fun as it is in this last episode.
I would say I was expecting them to write Boba Fett like, a rock god, but instead they end up writing him like Dennis and Mac and Charlie trying to sing Nightman, and then they get booed and just scream and run off stage. Just that's how I imagine this. And yes, this is definitely one of the stronger episodes. I agree with you. Not as good as the last two. But that's what irks me, and that's why I made this show so negative, is because you turn the main character into a joke, and the best episodes weren't even about him. He wasn't even in it at all, except for maybe one split second last episode. And like you said, this had some great action moments. It is definitely the better one that Robert Rodriguez directed. However, I expected this caliber of action and stuff prevalent throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because Mandalorian, again, season 2 and even season 1, there are plenty of episodes at this same level, like high stakes and action and stuff. And they managed to keep exciting you every episode of the way, especially season 2. And I'm sure people are saying, "Oh, you can't compare the two." It's like, if the main character of Mandalorian took over 2 episodes of this, you can definitely compare the 2 of them. So,
right, and also it's the same creative team. You know, it is
same creative
those
team.
guys.
It's about 2 guys wearing Mandalorian armor, so yeah, you can compare the 2. And as much as I love some of the moments in the show, and you know, I still love Tamora Morrison. I think he's great as Jango and Boba, and you know, I have no distaste for like the main cast, but it's just the writing. The writing was what really killed it for me, this show. So, I mean, again, I don't know if they will do a season 2. That remains to be seen. There's no news, rumors, or anything of it.
No.
I know Tamura wants to hunt down Mace Windu in season 2, but it's like, I'm sorry, but why would that happen at this point in time? He's no longer in the vengeance factor, so I don't know.
Right.
But
I can't imagine there being anything after this one. It feels like they're sort of closing off the storyline for Boba, at least in terms of, you know, like his character growth and stuff. For him to then go on and do something like that, it would seem very contradictory to what we got here at the end of this, you know, this show.
yeah, I mean, the only reason I would think we would get a season 2 is if he cameos more in season 3 of Mandalorian.
I could see
and
him.
that's when it's like, oh, and that creates a new story arc for him. But let's just talk about the episode, shall we?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's get to it. Guys, you know the drill. You haven't seen the episode, check it out. Come on back and dive into the spoilers with us. So yeah, let's do it. I will say this: as much as I liked some of the action, I felt like at one point it dragged on a little. I'll talk to you about that in a second. But dude, Cad Bane was such a standout the last couple episodes. Like this is the first villain I felt like since I think Moff Gideon in season 1, where I'm like, oh my god, this is a guy fucking to be reckoned with. And you know, I know he was big in Clone Wars. I don't really remember a lot of Clone Wars, to be honest. I just know he was a really cool villain in that one. But this one was definitely like, this is the big bad like cowboy of Star Wars. Like, don't fuck with this guy. And I loved his little intro telling Boba, like, oh, I know how to draw Boba out. It's just like, oh, yeah, he just walks right to the front door. And it's like, wow, they're talking about, no one was going to know we're here. Sir, there's someone waiting for you outside. It's like...
there's no way they'll get to us without us knowing, hey, there's someone outside. What?
Yeah, just, why the fuck?
Just where were you on that one, dipshit?
Pretty much. Oh man, and I like that Cad finally basically he told him the truth. Or I guess like something Boba kind of should have known, that yeah, you realize the Pikes killed your Tuscan tribe. Like, you know it's true. So that, and I really like this about this and the Mandalorian, is that the close-up shots of their helmets, even though you can't see their faces at all, from the way just the angles that they get or something, you get so much emotion from it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you could feel Boba's just his Ron Burgundy eyes just exploding in his face.
Yeah, that's
how I felt for him.
Yeah, I mean,
I was like, damn.
Absolutely, I think that's one of the more impressive things that they've been able to pull off with these series, just because, you know, starting back from Mando season 1, like you said, the actor is covered head to toe, and you know, the most expressive things the tools that an actor has is their eyes and their facial expressions, and when that's completely covered, like, you have to do so much without using that. So, you know, it goes a lot with, you know, like the body acting, the tone of the voice in the ADR sessions, you know, when they're having to portray emotion using only their voice, and then camera movement too, you know, whether they're pushing in or they're pulling out, you know, to give that added weight to it. So the way that they've been able, like you said, to convey emotion through what is essentially a blank slate is still very impressive. And I don't think they lost a step in that regard in this show. I think that's something that remains very consistent. And of course, the designs of both Din and Mando's armor are really cool.
Yeah, I like the way Boba's helmet looks better, just because it's old school, and the way it just, I don't know how to explain it, but I like their little exchange together. And you think their plan is set. Like, we have our muscle and gangs kind of across the town, like the stupid mods just checking in with everybody. I sound like such a dick, but I'm just saying they're so dumb. Why were they added into this show? I'm just not a fan. The mods were the dumbest thing. No one can convince me they were cool or anything. There really is nothing I feel like someone could say like, come on, you didn't think this was cool? I'm like, no, not the way they did.
At best, maybe they could have been pulled off in something like Clone Wars, like an animated show. But here in live action, it's just it just sticks out to me. It's just there's been this many episodes and I still haven't come around on them, unfortunately.
Nope, not at all. Oh my lord, I apologize. We got Chrysanthemum watching the Trandoshan district. The Gamoran guards watching the airport, and then what else? Who else was around? And yeah, like I said, the mods just watching their stupid part of town, and then they all get ambushed. It was very. I got a very heavy. I think that's what I liked about this episode is I got a lot of Godfather feelings, and then some moments I'm like, oh, this is very Magnificent Seven too. Like those are crazy good stories. So like when all the other tribes like basically betrayed them, and Trandoshans had their knives going for Chrysanthemum, I was like, oh, that's cold. The Gamoran guards getting pushed off the cliff. I was like, oh no, why? My buddies, no. Oh man, I thought I was really hoping they were gonna pull through, but of course they had to die. The dialogueless people, and the mods are just getting cornered in. That wasn't bad, but I really liked Din and Boba joining together, having their little, Butch and Sundance moment where they're just spinning around, shooting stuff. But this was the moment that really kind of got me. Like I liked it, but I'm like, now this happens where he's using his knee rockets, his guns, everything. Where has this been the whole show?
Yeah, like
really?
all of that was so awesome to see. Them. I mean, everything leading up to that too. Where they're in the now blown up cantina. Talking about basically they're at their last stand, and him giving Din the out, but Din telling him no, this is the way. I gave you my word. And then the whole major domo being like, I can what do you call it, negotiate on your behalf on your surrender and stuff. So the way they used him as essentially a distraction, I found that really funny.
Stalling.
Yeah, I haven't really liked that character so much, but him being the butt of a joke, in this situation, I did like it. And then of course them coming out in their jetpacks and wrecking shop as best as they could, despite being outnumbered. All of that was really cool. Although one of the things that kind of annoys me, and it seems like that it's more like Robert Rodriguez's style, judging from this and his episode in Mando, season 2. It's like they have their jetpacks and they're flying around, but why would they stop down in the middle of the street and then just start taking bullets? Dude, you have a jetpack, fly from building to building, and take them out like that systematically. Don't go from from cover to what they refer to in Iron Man 2 as the kill box. Don't just jump into the middle of everything. But I mean, that sequence was pretty dope. So it's okay, I guess we did get that.
Okay, now that you point that out, I didn't think about it at first. I was kind of thinking it's kind of funny.
It's the shield circle wall over again, but not quite as bad.
Well, I was thinking, I thought it was kind of funny. I thought their flying little moment looked a little hokey, not gonna lie, because they're just kind of going side to side. It looked like almost, it reminded me of Fat Bastard, just preparing for the ultimate wire fighting maneuver. I just hope my wire fighting team is ready. And they're just it just looked hokey, just them hovering from side to side, just, shooting stuff. I guess you have a point. They could have shot that a lot better, but maybe due to budget stuff, whatever. But yeah, but the taking bullets thing was like, yeah, god damn it! Now you got that in my head too. You're making it worse.
I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it does kind of like take a little bit away from, you know, the I guess the stress of the situation when we're seeing our characters being pelted with bullets over and over again and them not like going down. So it's like it sort of erases that fear factor of, you know, if they get shot, it's like, no, we know they're going to be okay. You know, it's like there's so many bullets coming at you, but they all seem to be hitting the armor. You know.
Yeah, and then I like Fennec kind of going to save everybody. That was cool. Mm-hmm. She didn't have to save the mods, but you know she did anyways. So that makes her a good person.
And I mean, and hats off to Fennec and Ming-Na Wen. She's been great this whole series.
She has been. She's been the anchor to this show, like in the best way. Where the show may have sucked, but at least the stuff with her was pretty great.
Yeah.
Like, especially the first episode where they get stupidly ambushed at that same street. And
that exact same spot, actually, I think.
Yeah, he gets beaten down by some dudes with shields, and she just does a cool little chase scene and stuff. Like, she's just been awesome. And it's like, why couldn't they also do that for Temuera too? Like, I just feel like they just totally, you know, pulled his pants down and just said, you suck. But it is what it is. That was cool, and I like how, you know, the people of Freetown end up coming down. I was really bummed when they said, "Oh yeah, you gunned down the
Carbon Cold-Blood." Oh yeah, me too.
I was like, "Oh fuck!" Like, really? You're not even gonna give him like a scene of him fighting for life or something? Whatever. You suck. So that was cool. And then I don't know about. Did you think when those like little crab droids with the dual stuff they came out, didn't you get Phantom Menace vibes from that? I know I was like, I just kind of thought, oh, those like those roller droids with the little shields and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From episode 1.
Yeah. No, that's exactly the vibe that I was getting, and there's been a lot of like callbacks and like sort of visual references, you know, throughout this series to the prequel era, and you know, bringing it into this more like dirtier post, you know, original trilogy area, and I've really enjoyed that. You know, Mando getting the Naboo starfighter, that was really cool. You know, now seeing sort of that similar technology of the droidicas. I think they're called like the Scorpionic droids or something. That was really cool. I did enjoy that. That was something that I wasn't expecting at all. And when they came out, I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty neat.
Yeah, when they popped the shields, I was like, oh, that's not fair.
Yeah, it's not.
But like when Boba's like, I gotta get some help. I'll be back. It's like, where are you going? And then and I forgot to talk about this too, but early in the episode before all the fighting happened, we see an X-Wing come into Mos Eisley, and I was like, is that Luke's stuff? And when I forgot her name, but when the lady Amy Sedaris' character is telling everybody, put that shit away. Why is your officer
the popo's here?
Like, I'm not doing it. Like, how are you? And then just you see Grogu's little head pop up. It's like, oh, adorable. Uh-huh. So I mean, we got our answer there that he definitely chose to go back with his, you know, his adoptive father, Din. And R2 is just like
a little cranky bitch.
Like, yeah, just I don't care what you need to do. I haven't seen him. Let me just spend time with him. And I like her little quip of just, Grogu, that's a horrible name. Sorry, buddy, but there's no way I'm calling you that.
Yeah.
And Grogu's face like, oh well, okay.
But that's my name.
That's not my dude. Why is that such a trend right now? The whole that's not my name.
It is. Oh man, like, this is the first I'm made aware of it.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Well, it's mostly actors who are doing it, but like Christy Carlson Romano's done it. I forgot who else has done it. Like like Lindsay Lohan did it. Sarah Michelle Gellar did it, but they're all doing like their past roles with that song, and I keep thinking of Horrible Bosses with Charlie Day just saying, that's not my name. And then, you know, they end up joining the fight too, because she's like, oh, Mando, I got somebody for you. It's like, turn it around.
Yeah, get out of here. What?
Turn it around. She was great. I liked her little entrance into this.
Me too.
Whole
like I've said, I've really come around on her character, and I was not expecting to. Like, everything that I've seen from her, like, you know, Mando Season 2 and now here Book of Boba Fett, I'm like, okay, I really like her. She's very charming. What can I say?
She's hilarious, just her screaming, and then just here's a visitor.
Yeah.
And then Grogu hopping up in his arms like,
oh, I know. I was like,
I was just like, I'm not crying.
It's like I'm much more invested in this moment than anything else that's going on. This is so great.
Seriously, and Din's just like, oh, I missed you too, buddy. Like, you're wearing the shirt. You wore the shirt that Dad got you.
Yeah, exactly.
You're actually wearing it? Oh, man. But then the epic moment of this comes in where we hear a roaring from the distance, and that's when you see Boba finally riding his Rancor. And that was pretty cool.
That was cool.
I did like that aspect of it. I was really hoping he's going to have bounty hunter buddies come in and just help him sweep the pikes, but that's me. I can only hope so much, you know. The Rancor was awesome, just him effing up the Scorpion X. I was so sad. I'm like, please do not die this episode.
I know. I was like, don't kill the Rancor.
That's like killing a puppy right now. Like, don't do that. Mm-hmm. But that thing was just tearing stuff up, freaking people out. I loved it. You know, as it said, get off my poach pike track. Dude, I applaud. I loved every bit of it.
Exactly.
So that was really cool. And then you know, Cad Bane finally comes at the end like, all right, these guys aren't getting shit done, so I will. Scares the Rancor off, and that face off that him and Boba had was pretty great.
That was pretty cool.
I was telling you earlier how I really liked that this show finally connected generations together, like how we saw Ahsoka with Luke, like, you know, like you said, like, oh, that's basically his aunt, and they're finally having the connections, like, you're just like your father. And this time is like, this is like, I'm not a boy anymore. He's like, it's not the first time I beat you to a job. And when he says, this is my last lesson I give you, it's like, oh man, just because I forgot that Cad basically did teach Boba.
Yeah, it was like his mentor.
Everything. Yeah, because, you know, I think Django would have taught him everything too had he survived Geonosis, but obviously his head's not there.
his head's not in it. His head was just not in it, you know?
We need to do a stand-up or something. I don't know.
So,
anyways.
So you've seen Clone Wars, right? I remember, like, you had watched it while we were, like, locked down, right?
Yeah.
Because
so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I'm very curious to, you know, talk to someone who hasn't had that sort of backstory on Cad Bane, you know, for someone who's only ever watched the live action stuff, like how this resonated with them. Because, I mean, you and me and other people who've watched Clone Wars, we have that, you know, knowledge of the history that these two guys have together. And this is essentially their final battle. You know, like, they've had certain, like, disagreements and scrums in the past that we're aware of. So it's interesting that, you know, they didn't touch upon that too much in this show. And because of that, I wonder if, like, this, like, final confrontation really resonated with people who don't know of their past together, you know?
I think the reason why they wouldn't dive into it is just because I'm sure there's plenty of people who haven't seen the Clone Wars, because again, it's a kid show, but it's a very serious kid show. It's very much like Justice League and stuff, where it's cartoon, but it's got a lot of serious elements to it.
Like Last Airbender,
and it was such a grind for me to watch it. So
it is a bit. Yeah. I
don't blame someone who did. I don't blame the people who haven't gone back to watch it. But I'm like, for a lot of for some of the biggest character reveals in this and Mandalorian, it kind of is necessary to see Clone Wars, at least, you know, get an idea.
Yeah.
Especially for Ahsoka and Cad.
And
exactly. I think at this point too, they wouldn't dive into it is because there's such different things now. Like, Boba's no longer a bounty hunter bound by, like, vengeance and greed or some sort of, like, sick vigilantism. Where Cad, he stayed in that game, so he's still ruthless. He doesn't give a shit, and Boba's just trying to be the whole thing of the show is I want to rule with respect. I want to be a good leader for these people. I don't, you know, I'm done with that life. So I think that kind of makes sense why they wouldn't get into it. I personally didn't mind it. I just like that they acknowledge, like, oh yeah, because they could have totally gone the route and not mentioned it at all. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, totally. It was just more of a thought, you know, just how people that don't have that prior knowledge, you know, what did they think of, you know, this character essentially showing up for only 2 episodes. You know, we introduced to him in the last episode, and then, you know, we see him.
Oh yeah, that is true.
We see him here, like, you know.
Yeah, that's what kind of makes it hard too. Because if you haven't seen it, then why would you care about this whole thing? So,
right.
Yeah, maybe it is better if you've seen Clone Wars for that to resonate a little bit. So, either way, I liked the little fight scene. I really thought Cad was gonna. I was like, God damn it, Boba, you're gonna lose the fight right now? Like, he's older than you. Like, come on.
That man's a quick draw, dude. He outdrew.
Dude, Cad was so badass. I can't. Just awesome. I thought the little, the ADR, like the voice acting was a little off compared to him talking in some scenes.
Like the sync? You mean like?
Yeah, it wasn't synced quite properly. Yeah, at least when they first spoke, like when he's telling him the whole like history of like, you know, the Tuscans died by the Pikes, not by that gang, right? Like, I thought a couple points I was like, ooh, that doesn't work quite right.
Yeah,
like, you know, it's not the same guy voicing him. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah, that's something that I noticed even from, you know, his introduction and last episode. Yeah, it's just one of those things, you know, like you kind of just have to roll with it. You know, it's hard to really, you know, do lip syncing, you know, with ADR after the fact. And especially for, you know, a character that has, you know, such a distinct mouth and a very, like, you know, very, very, like, distinct face, too. So it's one of those things where it's just kind of like, you know, it's hard, but I feel like they did as best as they could, you know, given the circumstances. So I can't fault them too much for that. But, yeah, if it bothers anybody, then, you know, it's totally a legitimate complaint, I think.
Yeah. But after when you think Cad had the drop on him, he pulls under with the Tuscan hammer spear he's got. I was like, yes!
Yeah.
That, like, where has this been the whole time, you son of a bitch?
I told you. I didn't call it. I was like, I remember we had a conversation in the past where I was like, he should have, you know, his you know, his stick. I forgot what it's called. He should have it.
Not Banthy stick, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but it's like it's basically his Tuscan Raider, you know, staff. I was like, he should have that like on his jetpack, you know, kind of like how Mando's been walking around with his Beskar spear. That'd be cool. So when he had that, when he came in with the Rancor, I was like, oh yes, this is dope. he's got his melee weapon with him now.
Yeah, that's like I said, I'm glad I pre-ordered the deluxe Boba from Hot Toys, and then now the re-armored one, because now I can put the spear onto him, and we have this goat.
It's the two melded together.
And then when the Rancor is just kind of going in his frenzy and stuff, I got a very King Kong vibe from it, which I was not complaining.
Oh yeah,
about.
yeah, totally. They've been like referencing like him like on the tower, almost like, you know. I was like, oh okay, this is a nice little homage to that. I like that. And
Grogu just being the goat of this whole episode, where he helped with the scorpion neck droids. He's just adorable. He comes in, and I thought he was gonna force choke the Rancor because it almost ate Din. I was like, oh Grogu, don't do that. Mm-hmm. But instead, he just uses the Force, like, calm down, like it's okay. And Rancor just relaxes and falls asleep, and it was so adorable. Just Grogu going up, like petting him, like there you go.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna take a nap. Falls asleep next to it. I was like, this is the moment I've been waiting. This is the best one of the episode. I just like, yes.
It's just so precious. It's so precious of a moment. You know, just him calming down. Like it's like seeing like a little kid or like a little baby with like a bigger dog. You know, like when the dog's like laying down and the baby's like, oh, dude, I'll lay down with it.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah, just. It was so cute.
I was like, Din, take photos. You're gonna want to take photos for these memories.
Unfortunately, I don't have pics for it, but I did like that they went to go clear house at the Pikes and the mayor and everything. Basically, all the heads of the families where Fennec just Batman style executes these guys.
We get to see the master assassin in action.
Seriously,
Brutal.
And she did. She shot everybody, hung the mayor right in front of the Pike, and just stabbed him. Like, I don't even know where she was at. I didn't even see her. She was just there. She was everywhere.
She did the multiple takedowns. She hit the Y button. Batman Arkham games.
Y and then just X. Yeah. just take them all
button out. She took them all out quick.
That was cool. But the ending was, again, just kind of lackluster, where they're walking through Mos Espa. And the line kind of pissed me off, where he's like, I don't know if we're cut out for this.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck is this whole show been for then? Like, what are you talking about? What is this joke?
This is what you wanted,
if not
right?
if not us, then who? And it's like Chrysanthemum and the mods come in. It's like, what? Like,
how come the Wookiee got a melon? You know, like it's kind of like the reverse of Chewie not getting a medal. You know, like he's the only one that gets a melon. Like, okay, sure.
just I was like, really? What? I'm like, Robert, I don't think you're cut out for Star Wars, man. I think this is it for you. Oh my god, just that stupid line. But the post-credit scene, you did watch.
I did,
though,
yes,
right?
I did see the post-credit.
At first, I couldn't recognize. I hate to say it, I did have to look up what it was for. I'm like, because I was like, what the fuck is who's that guy in the tank?
For a second, I was, you know, when the camera's like moving, we can't quite see who's in the tank. I was like, for a split second, I was like, did Boba put? Did he put? Sorry, what's his name? Cad Bane into the tank? Like, is he keeping him alive? But no, it wasn't Cad Bane. I was like, it was our boy Cad Bane.
I just didn't know who it was. I'm like, is this a Sith Lord? Who the fuck is this white guy in the tank wearing all black?
Yeah,
but
he
then
had a
I looked up, I
turtleneck
was
or
like,
something.
yeah, I'm like, oh, it's Cobb Vanth. Like, oh, okay, that makes sense, and that makes me feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And we see the guy, you know, the modder with his little blowtorch, just like, oh my god, what are you gonna do to this man?
He's gonna give him a modded arm. It's like a shoulder arm thing.
It's a gun arm.
It's like this isn't RoboCop. It's RoboCob. This is what we're getting.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
You're coming with me. Think it through, or whatever he said to the other guy.
I forgot, but
either way, I'm glad he's alive. Like I would have been really bummed if he did die. Although, you know, dying in a duel to Cad Bane is not the worst way to go. But selfishly, you know, I really like Timothy Olyphant. I know you do too. So the more we see of him, the happier I will be.
I'm a Timothy Olyphant stan. I wish I could look like him.
You know, if I watch enough Timothy Olyphant, I might become Timothy Olyphant.
Oh gosh, but and I like the little tease for Mandalorian season 3 where they're flying away in the starfighter and Grogu in his little cockpit. Just, hey, no,
like tapping on the glass.
Yeah, just no. Like, all right, fine. Just he presses the little I forgot what that button's called, but I guess that emergency, like, you know, just go
super
button.
booster.
Yeah, just presses it, and Grogu just like, he's a sucker for speed. He loves speed. Ever since
that dude likes his thrill.
Where IG-11 just is taking him through on the speed bike, just like, hey, like, this is fun. Why don't we do this more?
That dude's a little thrill seeker, you know. He likes his danger.
He's an adrenaline junkie, and I respect him for it. But like I said, I'm relieved that the show's gone. Now part of my anger is just lifted. Wouldn't it be easier if it all just blew?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in like the good riddance mode, but I'm kind of happy that it did end on a more solid note than I was personally expecting. You know, I was expecting, you know, the worst going into it just because of like how much development we had, and I do think there were a lot of hiccups and stuff. Like, I think we easily could have removed a lot of, you know, the Mando stuff. Like, imagine if like we took all those elements away, kept them for Mando season 3, and just come upon him there when he's with Pelimado, I forget for the name, but Amy Sedaris' character, you know, him being recruited while he's on planet there. I feel like we could have used, you know, the time of, you know, the 2 episodes that we got between, you know, 3 and 7. I think we could have used that time to more flesh out, you know, the Pikes, maybe bring in Cad Bane, you know, for a little bit longer, have him be a little bit more of a presence throughout, and sort of flesh out this more like underworld storytelling. I think that would have probably better served, you know, Boba's story. But I mean, what can we do? We're at this point. We did get those 2 episodes, the 2-episode detour that we did, and they kind of had to wrap everything up in this episode. So it was a lot of payoffs to things that I felt weren't fully earned, but they were entertaining payoffs nonetheless, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Like I said, I mean, I am good riddance, but at the same time, I'm like, it's more of just why couldn't they have written this better? And again, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah, so. It's the potential that was kind of left on the table. I feel you there.
But again, It is what it is. It's over. We have Mando season 3 to look forward to. The Ahsoka series is yet to be put in production yet.
We did get the announcement for Obi-Wan May 25th.
That's coming out May 25th. So that I'm kind of excited for. Hope it's good. I really do.
Me too. My favorite character, so I really, really hope it's good.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. But until next time, everybody, this is we got the Batman coming up in a couple weeks. I'm so psyched. Yeah, dude. I can't wait.
We got a Peacemaker finale. We'll definitely be talking about the season review.
We're gonna talk about it.
We have this week, and I think one more episode next week. So we should have a review next week for that. And then dude, I am so excited for the Batman that it cannot come soon enough.
I wish we could have gotten tickets for it. IMAX. I didn't realize they were put up for sale for that day. But dude, again, it only comes out a few days after that, so we got to go midnight that shit or something, man. Call out of work. I don't care. My week off starts that weekend, so I'm like, I could see as many times as I want.
I have one for every show. Oh, Jesus,
it's like,
right?
Oh, even I would be like, Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you?
The people in the theater we got to get this guy out of here. I think he's dying in there.
I'm just there all day. I got my sweats in, like, I'm like, hey, what's your name? Like, Susie, give me another round, Susie. Like, haven't you been here all day? It's like, yes. Don't you want to go home? Not yet. It's like, yes, I really do want to go home. Then why don't you? I A-listed 3 movies today. That is 9 hours out of my day that I'm wasting here. I'm helping you. Oh man, but anyways, until next time, guys, stay bodacious, keep on ranting. I hope you guys like this episode. For those of you who like the show, I don't mean to bash it all. I do, but I'm glad you guys like it. I wish I could relate to that, but I cannot. So that's all I got to say for that one.
Yeah, I mean, totally. Like, if you're like me and you try to enjoy it for what it was, then awesome. If you absolutely loved it, even better. But it's like, I'm just glad I
question your judgment. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm just glad we're getting some Star Wars content, which is always nice. But yeah, like Rice said, let us know your thoughts on this episode. What are your guys' thoughts on this series as a whole? So go ahead and chime in and let us know all about that. We can have a full range of the discussion going on now that this entire thing is done.
Exactly. Everybody,
don't cry.
Have a good night. No, I'm not crying. If they are tears of joy, like, oh, again, I don't have to be angry anymore. like, why is this show making you angry? It just does.
It just releases something inside of you.
All right, but everybody, like I said, have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, everybody, adios, and we will see you all on the next one.